At it again, and we got a couple videos with Charlie Kirk obviously destroying some folks' arguments. You love to see it. Like, share, comment, hit that subscribe button if you're new, and if you're not following me on social media too, links are down below. Instagram, Twitter, Truth Social, Discord server, it is all down below. And with that being said, let's dive in.
I just want you to answer this one question. Do you understand that as a white man, you do not have to apologize for being white? You just have to acknowledge the racism that happens around you. That is all.
What racism happens around me?
Let's say that a racist police officer shoots me, right, and kills me, right?
Okay.
For you to be a white man and you see that and don't say anything about it, I believe that my community would be upset about that. Now,
okay, well, first off, the likelihood of that happening is slim to none. First, right? Because we have the statistics on those types of situations happening, and they're at a very far. People think the numbers are far greater than what they actually are. They're not even anywhere near where people think they are. That's first. Second, Charlie Kirk doesn't have to say a single thing. Mainstream media will say everything. I mean, that will be a story that will be aired non-stop for 3 straight weeks. Plus, there will be rioting and buildings being knocked down and burned to the ground. So he doesn't have to say a single thing. Not a single thing. The media will do it for him. So why does Charlie Kirk have to say something specifically? Talk to me.
I believe that my community would be upset about that. Now, all you have to do as a white man, you don't have to get on the internet or on Twitter and say, I'm sorry for being white, but you should at least acknowledge the racism that happens around you.
He spoke about a very I really don't understand this whole situation, but maybe there's a whole lot of context that is obviously missing. Maybe that was part of the discussion that was being had. I think 99.9% of Americans do not support anything even remotely racist. 99.9, and I left that 0.001% or 0.01% because, obviously there are racist and hateful people out there, white and black. And black, all right? We got to add that in there too, because there's some black people that are obviously, and we've checked out one of those videos ourselves. But for the most part, nobody's out here parading to be racist, right? So I really don't understand like what he's trying to get at. He's making it sound like it's rampant, but anyway.
Okay, well, yeah, if an individual act of racism happens...
That is just taking accountability for what happens around you.
Hold on a second. First of all, I don't have to be accountability for a whole race, do I? Why do I have to be accountable for the white race?
For yourself.
Right, so if I'm racist, I'll take responsibility for that.
You probably are not racist, but...
Well, thank you. So then why do I have to comment on somebody else's racism?
But what you should do is take accountability for the racism around you. Not pretend that it doesn't happen around you. Like, again, the example that I gave you, that if I was shot by a police officer and you found out that person was racist, right? Now,
but why would you say take responsibility? How can I take responsibility for somebody else's actions?
What you should do is just take accountability and say, hey, yes.
All right, so that video ended pretty abruptly. All right? Sorry about that. That was quite weird. It normally doesn't end quite like that. But I understand what Charlie Kirk was saying. I'm not apologizing for what somebody else did. And I've said that myself, and I think I used the example, if my grandfather did something to your grandfather, I am not going to apologize to you for what he did. He did that, not me. Not me. So don't look at me expecting me to apologize, because you're going to be bones and dust before I ever apologize to you, okay? Because I didn't do it. Now, if I did something wrong, and I clearly did something wrong, I'll own up to it. Yeah, I was wrong. I've done it before, plenty of times. I'm not perfect. Never have been. Never will be. Okay? Never will be. That's just a fact. Nobody is. Anybody on this planet that walks this earth that says that they are perfect or tries to act like they are perfect, they are a liar. Flat out. Through and through. Liar. Okay? So if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'll say that I'm wrong, but I'm not apologizing for what somebody else did. And in his circumstance, what he was saying, I think 99.9999999% of America would all say in agreement that that cop, if it was true, if his situation was real, hypothetically, that officer was wrong and should pay the price for it. But we're not all apologizing. What am I apologizing for? I didn't do anything. But of course, some of these leftists, man, they out of pocket. They out of pocket. But let's jump into this next video here and check this one out. Hopefully this one doesn't end as abruptly as the last one did. Let's jump into it.
What is your advice to young adults who are in relationships with a significant other who has opposing political views?
Yeah, great question.
Ooh, that's rough. Ooh, that's rough. Hold on, wait a second. So I'm assuming she's the Republican and her boyfriend is the Democrat? Oh, yeah. You gonna have to find you a new man, shorty. Oh, man. Oh, sheesh. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, there's so much that I want to say about that, but I'll just leave it at that. She gonna have to find her a new man. What do y'all think? Talk to me.
Significant other who has opposing political views.
Yeah, great question. So obviously everyone is free to make their own choices.
Yeah.
I think that is a recipe for disaster. I do. And
especially if it's the man in the relationship. I guarantee you she wears the pants in the relationship. She calls the shots. I'm just saying. Ain't no way he calling the shots. It's definitely her.
I'm not saying break up with that person. I'm not saying you can't have a nice time, but here's a good question. Eventually, you might have children. Let's pretend you have children with that person. Okay, whose values are you going to teach the kid? Right? Who gets the? It's not you. I'm just saying. I'm just asking more hypothetically. What kind of school do you send the kid? Right? Do you send it to a public school and government school or to a Christian school? And who decides then? And then over a period of time, when you start living for a year or 2 or 3 years together, and all of a sudden the news comes on and tension's already high in the house. Are you going to be able to discuss the nightly news politely and wonderful together? Are you going to see it all in the same way? What about charitable giving? Are you going to want to give to the same charities? I could go on and on and on and on. And I've seen it work every once in a while. I've seen people with opposing views build really beautiful lives and do great things. But I've seen it be a disaster more times than not. That doesn't mean, by the way, if you find someone that shares your views, that it's going to be the most wonderful thing ever.
True.
But if you want to have children, then I believe firmly you have to marry somebody or be with someone that sees the world the same way you do. Or else it's not fair to the child. Or else they're going to be having competing and confusing narratives and dialogues passed down to them at all times. And so do what you will with that. But I also have seen a lot of people say, "Oh, I'm going to change them." That's not a good idea. That usually doesn't work. And by the way, if you are in a relationship to change somebody, that's really not what a relationship is, right? Typically, people that go into a relationship with the intent of transforming the other, that ends like the Hindenburg. God bless you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I definitely agree with Charlie Kirk. A house divided won't stand. It cannot stand. Like you said, too many competing ideas. unless one side chooses to give in, then it's not going to happen. And the other side that chooses to give in probably isn't going to be happy hearing stuff that they truly don't even believe in their own household, under their own roof. So yeah, I think that's definitely a recipe for disaster, unless they're close enough on the gradient or on the scale. One person is, slightly leans right, the other one slightly leans left. Like, that could possibly work. Like, if this were the middle and each person was here, that could possibly work. But if you got like a far leftist, yeah, both people are gonna have to be far left. It ain't working. It is not working at all. But I mean, I think the best thing is just both having the same belief politically. I think that is the definite way to go. Obviously, nothing's for sure 100%, but yeah, having two competing ideas is definitely a recipe for disaster and, turmoil at minimum, bickering back and forth, which obviously you don't want, especially if they're kids. You don't want kids getting raised in a house where there's a bunch of back and forth constantly. You want peace and tranquility and, love and cohesion in households with kids. So yeah, I don't think that could work unless they were close. But what do y'all think? Do any of you guys live with a significant other, which I'm assuming most of you guys at least lean right? Do any of you guys live with a leftist or someone who votes left? Let me know in the comment section and let me know, what it's like. All right. I mean, even if you don't want like your name and your profile, you can make like a whole new YouTube profile or whatever. You can change your name. It's not very difficult to do, and come back and comment so nobody knows exactly who you are. So you're not exposing your significant other. That's fine too. But I'm just interested if anybody is in that type of situation and how it's going. Do you think it will actually work? Just some information on it. Because, yeah, I just don't see how that ever would work. But maybe somebody's making it work. Like I said, let me know in the comment section below. Like, share, comment, and of course, hit that subscribe button before you go. Peace and love. I'm out.